NFL draft nerds, welcome in the NFL Combine. It is in the books for 2025, and today we have got Mock Draft Monday, post-Combine edition. Yes, some of the news coming out of the Combine, some of the testing, it will come into play here. There's no question about it. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the draft, it is all draft all the time here at Rogue Football. You are in the right place. Please like and subscribe. So let's go ahead and get this thing going over on the PFF NFL Mock Draft Simulator. Been using the PFF one a little bit more lately. No ads on this one. I really appreciate that. If you're out there listening, no ads. So I know people got to make money, but it is what it is. Tennessee Titans at 1 overall. I know they talk about trading down. I know there's a lot of talk about that right now. I think Borgonzi, Callahan, they get together. They feel the highest upside pick that they can make is Cam Ward. He's got a little bit of Mahomes to him. I don't think he has the same arm strength. I don't think he has quite the same level of accuracy as Mahomes. I think Mahomes just has a more pure arm. But Cam Ward's got a pretty darn good arm. He does. And he also has that innate playmaking ability. You saw in college, Mahomes, a little bit too turnover prone at times, a little bit too free with the football. You got to rein it in. Can Borgonzi, who comes from Kansas City, and Brian Callahan, can they get themselves to the point where they feel like maybe Cam Ward could be lightning in a bottle for them? I think that's where they get, and they take Cam Ward with the first overall pick, which leaves Shedeur Sanders on the board for the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns feel like they're a team that, as long as they settle the tackle position a little bit, they're in a great spot to compete at a very high level with competent quarterback play, and they believe Shedeur Sanders can give them that and then some. Even though he doesn't have the elite physical tools, he does have a lot of other traits that you're looking for. Accurate with the football, a little bit of playmaking to him, probably tries to play make a little bit too much, just needs to operate more from within the pocket and step up in the pocket, not drift in the pocket. If he can do that, which you've seen him do it, I think that Shedeur can be a good quarterback in a strong offensive infrastructure. I think the Browns do have that to offer. At 3, the Giants, they missed out on the quarterback sweepstakes. They're not going to go absolutely wild and take a Jackson Dart or a Quinn Ewers or someone of that, Jalen Milroe. We might see that happen a little bit later on, but the Giants aren't going to do it. They're going to be smart, and they're going to take Travis Hunter, and he is going to be their CB1, and he is going to be a playmaker for them on the offensive side of the ball. At 4, I have plugged in Will Campbell to the Patriots a lot. I don't know how you pass on Abdul Carter. The guy is unbelievable. I think the Patriots go for it with Abdul Carter here, taking him off the board. And that leaves Mason Graham to the Jaguars. That's a very chalky pick. I think it makes a ton of sense for the Jags. The fit, the player, the person that they're bringing in. So Mason Graham to the Jacksonville Jaguars at 5 overall. At 6, this is where things start to really get interesting. And obviously the Raiders need a quarterback. I don't think they're going to take a quarterback. I think Tom Brady's influence maybe calms some of the nerves there. We got to get our quarterback right now. I think that Brady's going to see that you can wait here on quarterback in the 2025 NFL draft and take one a little bit later. And then next year, which should be a more quarterback-rich draft class, which I know is always said every single year, not literally, but quite often. But I really think it is. I think 26 has a chance to be a very good quarterback year. The Raiders, they're going to take Ashton Genty. He's the best player on the board. He is my number 3 prospect. I think he will be widely viewed by the NFL as a borderline blue chip running back prospect who can do it all for you and be an offensive engine. You now have 2, just insanely talented young offensive skill players with Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers. At 7, if there were a team that would get a little bit negatively impacted by ownership, potentially make a poor decision at quarterback, could it be the New York Jets? I think it could. Jackson Dart to the Jets. And look, I think Jackson Dart should be a day 2 pick. I think I'm fine with that. He's got a good NFL arm, not a great NFL arm. I don't think he's the best on the move in terms of his throwing motion on the move. I think he's a guy who can get it done with his legs. He's a guy who can win from within the pocket. The offense he's in obviously doesn't translate directly to the NFL. But physical tools wise, leadership wise, I think he could get a team to really buy in. I think the Jets might be that team. Sorry to say for Jets fans out there, but hey, you never know. He does have a lot of tools to work with. Carolina Panthers, I think that they go Mykel Williams here. I think Mykel, this is a range that makes sense for him. It also makes sense for Shamar Stewart. If James Pierce Jr. didn't have some of the question marks you're hearing about off the field, and same thing with Mike Green, maybe. But Mykel Williams or Shamar Stewart make too much sense for me here. Mykel is already an elite run defender. He has very good length, very good athleticism, explosiveness, and there are flashes on tape of the pass rush ability. More flashes than you saw from Trayvon Walker, who went number 1 overall to my Jaguars. So Mykel Williams, I think, would be a very solid pick for the Panthers here. And then at 9, the other one that we were just talking about, the other defensive end prospect we were just talking about, Shamar Stewart, I think makes a lot of sense. He is the typical New Orleans Saints edge player, right? The size, the athleticism, the length, the strength. He's a good run defender. He's developing a pass rush plan as well. I think both of those are sound picks for those two franchises. And then Will Campbell falls all the way to 10. Is he the offensive lineman that the Chicago Bears take? You've got Campbell. You've got Booker. You've got a couple guys listed at tackle that might be guards. Armand Membu, Gray Zabel, Kelvin Banks Jr. I think we're going to go Will Campbell, who is my top-rated offensive lineman. And look, I personally think the Bears are good at tackle. I think Braxton Jones is a starter. I do. I think he's a fine starter. Now, I think Will Campbell kicks in and plays inside for you while you decide maybe about Braxton Jones' long-term future. And then Will Campbell can play tackle for you in the future. I think he's a first-round pick as a tackle or a guard. So Will Campbell is just a really solid pick for the Chicago Bears there. And then San Francisco 49ers, I think they could go offensive line, but this is a team that knows they don't have to have the most elite offensive linemen all the time, all over the place to be successful. They have Trent Williams. They have Dominic Pooney. I think that they're going to add to the position, potentially in free agency, certainly throughout the draft. I think they're going to look at the interior defensive line and say, Kenneth Grant is just an absolute freak show. I don't know why I got this gut feeling that maybe I don't think Kenneth Grant is going to fall much beyond 10, if at all. So that's one part of this. Just 340 pounds, unbelievable athlete, a guy who can win quickly at the line of scrimmage, but also dominate against the run. I think Kenneth Grant comes off the board very early, and I think it might be to the San Francisco 49ers. Dallas Cowboys, obviously everybody plugs in Genty here. That's not going to happen. I don't think you take another running back this high. Tedero McMillan has fallen down the board a little bit here, and I think this is a appropriate range for him. I also think it's appropriate range for Luther Burden. I think could also be looking at our guy Matthew Golden. Either way, I think the Cowboys go get themselves a receiver here, and they do have needs at offensive tackle. You obviously hope Tyler Guyton develops in year 2. Steele, a little bit better last year, still not a great player, but offensive firepower I think can really help out Dak Prescott in a big way. You get that with T-Mac, who I do think is a really good complement to CeeDee Lamb. So you have a real nice two-headed monster at receiver there in Dallas. At 13, this is too chalky. I can't go away from it. I think Malachi Starks would be a great fit for the Miami Dolphins at 13 overall. I still have him as safety 1 without question. You look at the fluidity, the instincts, the effort that he plays with. Malachi Starks, safety 1 still. Now, Nick Manwari, he's got to come off the board at some point here, right? But I have the Indianapolis Colts taking Tight end, Tyler Warren, which is also a chalky pick. I'm aware of that, but it's also the right pick here. Tyler Warren is a top 10 prospect in this class. I think a lot of folks view it that way, and his combination of ability to dominate at the point of attack and the run game, to be a 3-level threat as a receiver, to be an offensive engine as a receiver, and somebody you can line up in the backfield. He can help you out with the run game and in the passing game. Tyler Warren, that's an easy pick there for me. And then we get to 15, and I've done this one before as well. I love James Pierce Jr. to the Atlanta Falcons. He is that pass rusher they've desperately needed. He falls down the board a little bit even after that 4.47 40-yard dash due to question marks from some teams, it sounds like, with his off-field situation, with his character. But I think James Pierce Jr. is a borderline top 10 talent in this class, and they go get him. How about Arizona Cardinals? I know they commonly get mocked corner and offensive line. What if they say, hey, we have an opportunity here with Luther Burden, who is a special talent, or Matthew Golden, who is an unbelievable talent as well, to create a wildly talented wide receiver room for our quarterback. There's worse ways of doing business. I think Luther Burden would be awesome for the Cardinals there. At 17, seems like T. Higgins probably still going to be a Bengal. We'll find out. We will find out. But I do like the idea of the Bengals going and getting a defensive lineman. And this is going to be a little bit of a shocker. I think Donovan Ezraku comes off the board earlier than folks think. He tested very well. He plays the game at an extremely high level. He has natural leverage and length that helps him win, both as a pass rusher and a run defender. Donovan Ezraku off the board a lot earlier than a lot of people are going to think, but I think he's going to help them out tremendously on the defensive front. At 18, Seattle Seahawks could go in a lot of different directions, right? Could be looking at Tyler Booker. Obviously did not test well. I'm honestly kind of surprised that he tested. But that guy is not going to back down from a fight. How about Armand Membu? I think that makes a lot of sense. The guard tackle versatility there probably doesn't end up falling this far in the draft, honestly. But Armand Membu to the Seahawks would be a hell of a fit. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a team, I think you could certainly talk about linebacker. You could talk about edge. I'm going to go in a direction that might surprise some folks. I think Carson Schlesinger, the way he performed at the Combine, the way he performs on tape, is a perfect guy to come in and learn from Levante David. I would love that fit. Absolutely love it. Denver Broncos, they are going to get a playmaker for their offense, for Bo Nix, for Sean Payton, and it is going to be Matthew Golden, who offers a lot of similar traits to Emeka Egbuka. I think Egbuka is a little bit bigger, a little bit sturdier, better blocker, a little bit more consistent with his hands, but Golden gives you that juice, that unbelievable speed and route running and separation ability. Matthew Golden. And they're building something there in Denver. I think that the AFC West is a lot of fun, and the Chiefs are going to have to fend off some very good football teams. So looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think Jahdae Barron is a fit for them. I think Will Johnson is a fit for them as well. And I think they're the type of team that says, hey, look, Will Johnson should not be falling down this draft board. This is a damn good football player. Everything we've seen on tape. We like the play style, the demeanor that Will Johnson brings to the field. If he can go out there and test at his pro day and run, silence some critics, that will be huge for Will Johnson. Los Angeles Chargers, they need a lot. Rebuilding team. I think they're on the right track. But hey, Colson Loveland, you can't go wrong. He already is familiar with Jim Harbaugh. They'll figure out how to use him at an extremely high level. Be that legit number one tight end receiving threat for Justin Herbert. The Green Bay Packers. Could Jahdae Barron be a replacement for Jair Alexander, who's potentially on the move? I could definitely see that. I could see the Packers going interior defensive line. I could see them going edge. Is there an edge we feel fits the bill? Maybe a little too early for edge. Maybe Jahdae Barron's the fit. Maybe it is. Let's roll with it. Minnesota Vikings. I think definitely like the idea of going interior defensive line here. And how about Derek Harmon, who has had a really darn good draft process? Obviously, he might like to be playing for a different NFC North team, being from Detroit, Michigan. But Derek Harmon, great athlete, great run defender, really good pass rusher, complete type of player. I think he helps out your defense a ton in Minnesota there. And Minnesota's been squeezing the most out of the most that they can out of that defense without like some truly elite guys. I think Derek Harmon can be one of those big time football players for them. Jihad Campbell is still on the board here, and he's got to come off the board before the end of the first round, I think. But you look at interior offensive line again, Tyler Booker. I think the Texans, being the Jaguars' second biggest rival behind the Tennessee Titans, they're going to get somebody that I like because that's just, the way it works here. Karma. Gray Zabel, I think, would be a great fit for them. I love Josh Simmons, but it's still coming off that patellar tendon. I think we're going to plug in Gray Zabel. Yeah, that would really bug me. So that's what we're going to do. 26, Los Angeles Rams. They just locked in Alaric Jackson, right? They could still use another tackle, though. How about Josh Simmons? That would be a hell of a fit. And a great value. I think the Rams have done a great job finding value in the draft recently and, for years, really. Josh Simmons. Baltimore Ravens, I could definitely see them taking Jihad Campbell, obviously. They've got some offensive line potential needs. Tyler Booker feels like a Raven. There's a lot of guys that feel like a Raven here. Ariante Ursery had a great day. Donovan Jackson looked really good. Josh Connerly, Kelvin Bank. I mean, there's good options here if they want to beef up that offensive line. Are they bringing back Ronnie Stanley? What's happening there? Jihad Campbell just feels like a Raven, doesn't he? I gotta do it. Gotta do it. Jihad Campbell going and pairing him and, maybe making, maybe the best linebacker duo in football pretty quickly. Definitely up there. Unbelievable athlete. I think he's a great coverage player, great length. At the linebacker position, he has good length. He's not great length for an edge rusher necessarily. But so Detroit Lions, where are we going here? Where are we going for the Lions? Tyler Booker. God, he is a Lion to the T. Wow. That would be a hell of a fit. And he's not the best athlete, but this is a guy that creates push in the run game, stonewall in pass protection. What more can you ask for if you're Dan Campbell and company? I would love that fit. The Commanders have been a team over the last year or so that have not done things that I thought that they should, and they have worked out at an extremely high level. So I'm looking at this here. I am just low on Kelvin Banks because I think he falls off blocks too often. But starting to be in the value type of range, it would go against what I think they should do and probably work out. So Kelvin Banks to the Commanders. They do need some offensive line help. That's just how it goes. What are we looking at for our Buffalo Bills trying to get past those damn Chiefs, right? I don't think you want to go receiver as much as you might want to. I don't think you do. You definitely don't go running back after, Ink and James Cook. What do we got on our IDL? I don't think you go Walter Nolan because he's very similar to Ed Oliver. Darius Alexander, though, gosh, I think he's a really good stout run defender, but also has that pass rush juice, tested really well. Yeah, Darius Alexander out of Toledo to the Buffalo Bills. I love that fit. So Kansas City Chiefs, they need tackle in the worst way, left tackle. Josh Connerly falls to them here. I think that makes sense. Yeah, that's the direction I'm going to go here. Philadelphia Eagles. Who are they going to steal? Who are they going to steal? Donovan Jackson, Stoutland University. Yeah, sign me up. That makes a ton of sense. Guard tackle versatility. Maybe, plays guard for the next few years. Maybe plays tackle for you once Lane finally hangs it up. But yeah, that'll do it. First round mock draft. Cam Ward to the Titans. Shedeur Sanders to the Browns. Travis Hunter, New York Giants. And we'll do trades in these mocks once we start getting a little bit more information from free agency. Abdul Carter to the Patriots. Mason Graham to the Jags. Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders. Jackson Dart, the surprise of the draft, to the New York Jets. Michael Williams to the Panthers. Shamar Stewart to the Saints. Will Campbell to the Bears. Kenneth Grant to the 49ers. T-Mac Teterow McMillan to the Dallas Cowboys. Malachi Starks to the Dolphins. Tyler Warren to the Colts. James Pierce Jr. to the Falcons. Luther Burden III to the Cardinals. Love that pairing with our guy Marvin Harrison. 17, Donovan Ezraku, another surprise to the Bengals. 18, Seattle Seahawks, Armand Membu. 19, maybe a surprise to some, but Carson Schlesinger pairing him up with Levante David long-term. I love it. Matthew Golden to the Broncos, just adding firepower to that Sean Payton Bo Nix offense. Will Johnson to the Steelers. Colston Loveland to the Los Angeles Chargers. Jahdae Barron to the Green Bay Packers. Derek Harmon to the Vikings. Gray Zabel to the Texans. Josh Simmons to the Rams. Jihad Campbell to the Ravens. Tyler Booker to the Lions. Kelvin Banks to the Commanders. Darius Alexander to the Bills. Josh Connerly for the Kansas City Chiefs. And Donovan Jackson to the Eagles. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, it's all draft all the time. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and y'all have a good one.